NightCap Recap. What up, players?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. NightCap Recap. Guys, we appreciate the love on Specialty Media Group. Thank you for watching everything. Please follow everybody else's stuff. We got great content up there from my man, Ryan Payton. Please check his stuff out. Him and John Nelson, North and South, have been on there. You know the NightCap Recap is delivering. My buddy Justin Ryan Gonzalez, our guy. We did the college football stuff. More stuff coming with college as well. Jim Biringer, Teddy Repantis. We're back talking a little NFL off the top. We're also going to talk real quick. One final note, tie it all together. John Cena. But Teddy, what up, my man?
What's up, Jimmy? Live, living color on a Tuesday night in a chilly December. Christmas time is around the corner. Recording the NightCap Recap with you. And I also want to echo your sentiment. We appreciate all the love we get, the views, the likes, the comments, the shares. Keep it up. We love it. And watch everything that's on the Specialty Media Group. We appreciate the love.
And you guys know the original NightCap Recap Instagram page with the clips, with everything. We appreciate everybody. By the way, NightCap Recap ahead of the game with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Done. We'll get to that later on. We'll promote ourselves, talk about other things. But real quick, off the top, one final bow, put everything together. Love what Bully Ray said. Big Star Wars guy myself. I know Arda Arcal is big Star Wars guy, ESPN. Shout out to him. Him and I go back and forth with a bunch of things. But I put it on my story with the Star Wars music with the Obi-Wan Kenobi. John Cena sacrificed himself so other people could do it. It was great. And we told you, what do we say? Gunther, mega heat on Monday night. It was beautiful. And everything was done perfectly because Gunther, mega heat.
And I love the line that he threw out. John Cena tapped like a little bitch. I mean, what better way to get the trolls and the real fans pissed off to throw that out there? And I agree with you, echoing Bully Ray's sentiments. I'll say Matt Hardy said it pretty well too. It was him letting go. The smirk was him letting go, understanding he's had a great career. If you watch the recap video of Monday Night Raw, the opening promo package, they did a good job of kind of it's almost like a thing when they say when your life is ending, your life flashes before your eyes and you see all the good moments. John Cena smirking, and they showed a quick flash of all his moments in his career, and then he taps out, letting go. I love that analogy. John Cena, again, we salute you for everything you've done for the wrestling business.
Absolutely. So we just wanted to let all the marks know that it's the right decision because too many corporate fans, too many internet fans, too many fans not knowing the business, too many new fans just don't understand it. You want happy ending. I'm sorry to tell you, life doesn't have a happy ending because it just doesn't. I'm going to be honest. Hate to be bleak about it. Life does not have a happy ending. It just doesn't.
And when you're on your way out and you're retiring from a business, you want to leave it better than you came in. That's the whole purpose. And that's right. What the wrestling business is about. You want the next guys to be propped up. It would be great if you put over a babyface like we love LA Knight, but now you've got this mega monster heel in Gunther, and he could run with this. And this might be his career-long goal. AJ Styles already getting in his face. I could see something going down where he ends AJ Styles.
If Styles is going to retire next year and Lesnar's going to retire next year, you already have two ready-made feuds.
That's two more guys, and maybe Gunther, like you said, can be Thanos collecting all these careers now at this point.
Yeah, get the rings. That'd be great. But again, we just wanted to put a final bow because we did an episode on Sunday, put it up, Specialty. Thanks, Terry, for putting that up really quickly for us. We really appreciate that. We want to shout you out. But we got to get down and dirty with the NFL because, well, we got to talk about it because playoff season's around the corner. Playoff matchups are starting to, trickle in. The NFL is here, and I don't want to hear about Mike Vrabel. I love you as a coach. That's excuses, what I'm hearing on the radio about the Bills holding penalties. Your team blew a big lead on Sunday, and there's no excuse for it. You could have put the Buffalo Bills away, could have won the division, and instead you allowed Josh Allen, Superman, to bring his team back and still be alive for the division. I'm sorry, Mike Vrabel, I love you, but lose the excuses.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the excuses either, Jimmy. Not a fan of that at all. The game is played between the lines. You could call holding on every single play in the NFL. We've said it so many times. You have to learn to overcome that. If this team wants to be the team, now the Pats are back, you want to say that, you got to take out the Buffalo Bills. You have to kick them while they're down. This was your opportunity right here. The AFC East title was within your grasp. You were up 21-0. And the radio announcer came on after Travion Henderson's running that 65-yard touchdown and saying, the Bills are going home. The window is closed. The Pats now rule the AFC East. From that point on, the Bills turned it around, came back and won that game. And Josh Allen and those guys now, you don't think they're jacked up, they're poised, that they still have a shot to win this division? It's going to be tough. The Pats still have to drop technically 2 more games. It might not happen, but the Bills are going to have all the momentum going into the playoffs, knowing that they could go into New England and beat them. And Josh Allen is probably going to be the best quarterback left in that conference after Mahomes is going home, Joey B is going home, and Lamar might be going home if the Pittsburgh Steelers hold serve. So Josh is going to have to deal with the Pats, the Broncos, and some other up-and-coming teams. This is your time, Josh Allen. But again, I agree, Jimmy. Mike Vrabel, lose the excuses, turn around, face the Ravens on Sunday, and get right and get back into this thing.
Look, I'll say this. Travion Henderson had a great game running the football for the New England Patriots. I told you about this kid at the beginning of the year. Loved him at Ohio State. But you were up 24-7 going into halftime. There is no excuse for losing this game if you're the New England Patriots. Zero excuse. But again, you play 4 quarters, play 2 halves. Game is not over at 24-7. Seen it so many times. How many times you see it with Patrick Mahomes? All these teams, they can come back. And they did. And it's the Buffalo Bills. And to me, I know Matthew Stafford's probably going to get the Lifetime Achievement MVP award. He might. I don't know that. But if I was voting for the award, Josh Allen just won it for me. On as much as I want a Jonathan Taylor guy, as much as I pumped his tires, to me, that's an MVP performance to get your team off the mat and get a big win in the division.
He's certainly back in the mix. He's back in the conversation. I don't know where Vegas ranks him right now. I know Stafford obviously is going to be there just because of the amount of wins and the stats that he has. But you're right. Buffalo Bills, with their backs against the wall going into New England and the games they've ripped off here these last couple of weeks, he pretty much, like you said, puts the team on his back and he does it all. But let's give some love to their defense too. Joey Bosa was getting in Drake May's face in that second half. The defense stepped up and made some really big plays. And if it wasn't for those stops, those 3 and outs, that's how you get the ball back and you make a comeback. Your defense has to step up and get the ball back for you. So credit to Buffalo's D, because all year they've been much maligned and they've been the weak point of this team. So you got to give them some credit on top of Josh Allen.
They'll still gave up over 30 points again, but
yeah,
I think the fact that Bosa's getting pressure on the quarterback to cause some turnovers, I think was huge for this team.
Yeah, they tightened up in the second half. They gave up the 24 in the first half. And they tighten up when they really needed it. That's going to be important in the playoffs because you might give up a big first half. You got to come out and be able to stop the other team if you want any chance of a comeback.
Because guess what? Buffalo's going to have to probably go on the road at least one time in the playoffs to win a game. At least one time,
Correct.
if not 2 times. And they may have to go to Denver.
Because and that's going to be a tough place to play.
Because the Denver Broncos just won the AFC West. They clinched the division. They clinched the playoff spot. I mean, they didn't officially clinch the division yet.
Yeah, your Chargers are still lurking there.
My Chargers are still lurking. Joe Madden's Chargers are still lurking. Shout out to her Chargers too. But my Chargers are still lurking. But I have a feeling that the Broncos are going to wrap up this division. They clinched the playoff spot, and they played a really good Green Bay team. Jordan Love, again, the Packers just when they need him, he just doesn't step up at the right moment. Again, I'm not knocking it because you lost Micah Parsons. So I don't know what that game would have been like, but it just feels like in the big moments. And we can put the Green Bay thing aside for a second, but the Broncos continue to show with Bo Nix ever since that Giants fourth quarter comeback, they're a legit team in the AFC.
Yeah, and things turned on a dime when the injuries occurred here. I mean, Christian Watson, big-time wide receiver for Green Bay, goes down. Jaden Reed, another big receiver that came back, he goes down. And then a couple series later, they lose Micah Parsons. And Denver took full advantage of that. That's when things turned there. And they also had a comeback of their own, too, because I think they were down by 10 in this game at one point. And Bo Nix was able to get Cortland Sutton going. They got the run game going. And that defense, That's been the key to this team all season long. We said it in the at Mile High for teams going to play in that environment, in that stadium. When you have a defense that could shut another team down, I mean, how big is that? And now they have the inside track and control their own destiny to that number 1 seed. All they need to do is hold serve here. They got to finish out with a Mahomes-less Chiefs, and I think they got another one with the Raiders. I could be wrong. I got to look at their schedule. But the Broncos should here mathematically clean up this 1 seed, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I like the way Cortland Sutton finally getting in the mix. Bo Nix playing really well. I thought they had a good game that day. Again, the Packers, the injuries, just, again, luckily the news on Christian Watson and a couple of these guys aren't as bad as the Micah Parsons torn ACL. And look, Bo Nix playing really well. Micah he just does so much. I mean, I think I heard this stat today. He has, 64 pressures?
Yeah.
The next guy has 28. Like, that's a huge drop.
Yeah, and not only
the Packers got Micah for the playoffs because that made them a Super Bowl contender. Now they're just a playoff team, and I don't know how far they can go.
Yeah, shout out to Foot. I feel bad. I mean, look, when you lose a player, look, as a Niners fan, I sympathize because I told him, I'm like, listen, this is perpetual for the Niners. We lose a stud every year. Like Bosa and Warner went down. So losing a guy like Micah Parsons, who's arguably maybe the best defensive player in the NFL, at any given moment, you're right. They got him. This was the reason they got him. The playoffs to win big games. Not only his pressures, what he did for others on that defense. Taking the pressure off the other guys to allow them to make big plays, turnovers. That defense was reliant on him. Let's see if they're good enough to overcome it. Let's see. I don't know what their depth looks like. I'm going to have to ask Jim Foote about that. Let's see, because good teams like the Niners find a way to overcome and make do. Can the Green Bay Packers do that? Because in a crowded NFC with Detroit lurking for a wild card spot, every game is important now, especially this Saturday night against Chicago. That now Chicago's in the driver's seat, right? Just suddenly like that. So, it's
what I tell you about those Bears?
You did say something.
I did say something about those Bears. I'm holding that clip. That clip's ready to be posted when the Bears win on Saturday night, most likely. I think they probably will. But you never know. Tough game with these teams. You never know what could happen with these teams because, again, we thought Chicago might beat Green Bay the other time. But I think Chicago might have a chance to beat them this time. But I did say Bears playoff team, and I'm not wrong. I also said the Chiefs during our midseason, and I just want to throw this in there. I did say during our midseason look around that quarter season, midseason, I said the Chiefs weren't making the playoffs. So, and you said you did say that they were going to have a downfall this year. So again, this ties into our next point.
We didn't look. We don't want it to be an injury, right? We don't want.
No,
I don't like hearing that news.
But I don't think even if Mahomes stays healthy,
I agree.
Once they lose it, everything else broke the right way.
Texans won.
As long as the Texans beat the Chiefs, the Jags had a win, Denver had a win, Buffalo won. The tiebreakers were all there, and the Chiefs would have been out whether or not Patrick Mahomes stays healthy or not.
I agree. Yeah, they were not going to make it regardless. I agree with you on that.
So shout out to Patrick Mahomes, torn ACL, torn MCL. I know I'm going around the rundown on this, but torn MCL, torn ACL.
ACL and LCL.
LCL.
Yeah.
But anyway, he potentially may not be ready to play till 2027, which would stink for the Chiefs next year because that means they got to go find a quarterback.
Yeah, it's not Gardner Minshew. He came in there an interception right away. The Chiefs were actually winning this game. I think they were up 10, and the Chargers came back and won it 13-10, I think.
No, 16-13.
16-13, low-scoring defensive game, a lot of what we expected. The Chiefs' defense was going to step up at home in this kind of situation. But unfortunate for Mahomes. Look, I rag on him, and I hate on him. It's a funny thing. I never want to see anybody get injured, especially, and the bad thing is, again, December. This happens in December. ACLs, 9 to 12 months. So you're saying possibly mid-season next year, December, why even come back? That's why they're putting that at 2027 because it's another ligament. So you're right. The Chiefs got to go out and find somebody for a year now. and Kelsey's probably not going to be there anymore, right? So this
No.
team's going to look totally different in 2026 potentially here, right?
Look, and it's a parallel with Brady, but Brady got hurt at the beginning of the year, right? I think there was another quarterback they threw on that list that also had a ACL injury, but the Brady Mahomes parallel, I think everything that everybody saw. Yeah, but everything that we saw with the Chiefs over the last couple of years, where they were able to find a way to overcome certain things, they're not able to overcome now. And it was piling up. And Eric Bieniemy not being there, guys on the O-line, defense. I think next year might be still another struggle for the Chiefs unless they trade for a quarterback. You know, there's a guy in San Francisco. But I think, be honest, if I'm San Francisco, I'm putting the price so high that they have to make me say yes. Because Mac Jones now is worth something on the trade market. He's not worth just a fourth. Now he's just not worth a fourth-round pick. He's worth an equivalent in the NHL to a first-round pick and a roster player, in my opinion.
I agree because let's say some of these teams jockeying for that number one pick right now. Giants are not going to take a quarterback, but Raiders are going to be up there. The Cardinals are going to be up there. They might part ways with Kyle Murray. There's a bunch of teams up there that might have a quarterback that don't need that top pick. Whoever loses out on that is going to hit the market. Mac Jones is going to be there on the market as a fill-in for somebody or a potential starter. You tell me Mac Jones couldn't play on the Raiders and be the full-time starter? They have no quarterback. Pete Carroll's going to be gone. Geno, I think, I don't know what's up with him. I think he's done. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. Suddenly he can't play football anymore. So
after that great year.
Yeah, he had a couple good years, and he just fell off the face of the earth. So I agree with you, man. The Niners should put that price tag as high as they can because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to come calling, I think.
I mean, unless they're smart and they say, no, Mac is not going anywhere, then he's not an asset. And I wouldn't blame them if they didn't want to trade him because you don't know with injuries and you know he can run that system. So if I'm them, unless I get a yes offer, I'm not moving Mac Jones.
Right. Agreed. And I'm fascinated now. If you're telling me Mahomes is gone for 26, do the Chiefs just say, let's tank it, get who we can get, fill it in, Jameis Winston, somebody, maybe Russ will go there for a year. Anybody we can find for a year.
I don't think Russ is going there for a year.
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Go and tank it because Mahomes won't be there in 26. And then get a high pick for 27, and that's where your reload starts. Your reshuffle and your reload should happen over the course of the next 2 years if you're Kansas City. If you're telling me Mahomes ain't going to be there.
Draft, develop, and retool and get and start the new era under Mahomes without Kelsey, without all these guys. Get everybody 100% healthy. Get some running backs. Get some things.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. I think Andy Reid, that's the way they do it. For sure, 100% with Kansas City. Again, all the best to Mahomes. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. You don't want to see a guy go down. The minute I saw it, I knew it was ACL. Don't need hyperextend. Same with Micah. You just know it. So all the best to those guys. But how about those AEW Jags, baby? Trevor Lawrence looks really good this year. What did I say at the beginning of the year? Trevor Lawrence could get it going. The division would be really good. Texans, their D. Shout out in that game too. Texans D. Their Texans are just dominating again. Like their game, they're just dominating. But the AEW Jags continue to get it done. It's the best Trevor Lawrence has looked in the NFL. The best he's looked since his days at Clemson under Dabo. They're running the football. They're making smart plays. Their defense is stepping up. Huge win by the AEW Jags.
Yeah, agreed. There's something different about Trevor Lawrence. I know it's the Jets, but 6 touchdowns he accounted for on Sunday. And like you said, I mean, Travis Etienne in the run game has been amazing. He's turned it on these last couple of weeks. And now with some injuries in that backfield, he's the main guy there. I mean, he's been great. And how about Jacoby Myers coming in there from the trade from the Raiders? Travis Hunter went down. It's crazy to think. I think Travis Hunter, if he didn't get hurt, would have been a big part of this offense. I'm going to be honest. Because the week before he got hurt, he had his best career game, and he was going to be a big part of the game plan. So it's unfortunate. But Jacoby Myers coming in there from the Raiders has been great for them. Brian Thomas Jr., after a slow start, finally getting it going. And kudos to that coaching staff. That defense, again, We're going to find out how much of a contender they're going to be. They're playing the Denver Broncos this Sunday. That is a huge game. Yeah, that's a potential divisional round playoff game. It's going to be the Broncos as the 1 seed, maybe facing a 4 seed Jags in round 2. We might see that. So I'm really excited to see how real these Jags are. You know, I know. So this will show us. Was it just the Jets, or can Trevor go in there and make it interesting with Denver?
I mean, they already beat Kansas City.
Right. They showed they can do it.
They showed they can do it and come back. And Leon Cohen has to get credit to the way he's transformed Trevor Lawrence. Like,
absolutely.
Has to get credit for this.
He should.
That's, I mean, could he be coach of the year at nominee at least?
Look, if they finish here with double-digit wins and a high seed, why wouldn't he be in the mix, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be in the mix? And how about most improved player for Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence could be in the running for most improved player if he finishes with some big numbers like he is right now. I mean, he'd have to be in the mix for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, definitely. I agree with that. So, yeah, a little detour through our rundown, guys. Sorry.
It's fine.
We put the rundown out, and then we just
bounce around, baby.
We just bounce around. So we covered our AEW Jags. We talked about the Chargers and the Chiefs knocking them out. My Chargers, which I said at the beginning of the year, could be a divisional team. And look, they start off the year, they beat the Chiefs. They end the Chiefs season. That kind of started my thing on the Chiefs. Like, once Chargers beat them that first game outside the country, I was like, okay, yeah, Chargers legit real. All right, Ravens and Steelers, baby. Like, it's going to come down to the final game like it always does in the black and blue division. I hate to say it, but it is. I mean, both we got Ravens big win. Like, they needed that against Joey B. The first time all year the Ravens D actually looked good. Like, 0 points. Like, first time all year they looked like the Ravens
shut
D.
them out.
They shut them out after Joey B went off the week before against Buffalo. So, where was this? If the Ravens D played like this all year, they'd be leading in division and wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, because the Ravens were one of the teams that I had high expectations coming into the year, high hopes. I had them as far as going to the Super Bowl. That's how big I thought of the Ravens. If that defensive play now shows up here in December and leads them to a division win over the Steelers in the final week of the season and gets them into the playoffs, then okay, maybe I'll say they have a chance to make some noise. I still think some of these teams are better than them in the conference. Too inconsistent for my liking. Lamar hasn't looked right all year long, but let's give them credit. They needed this win. Cincinnati's knocked out. Pittsburgh, in a cold night last night in Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers defeats the Miami Dolphins, and they were up big in that game. It was
blowout.
Miami
city.
had no chance. Yeah, blowout city. Miami in 40-degree weather or below can't win a game. Tua's time there has to be coming to an end soon at some point. But let's give Rodgers, 41 years old, winning this game in the icy cold and getting it done. And suddenly the Steelers have some swag.
He hasn't won a cold game in a while.
It's been a while for him, right? With the Jets, he didn't do it too often, right?
No, but even with the Packers, when I'm thinking he was in his prime, like getting his days numbered in Green Bay, and I think Foot would be able to elaborate on that a little bit more. I just don't remember him winning too many games in the cold.
Yeah, you're right, because he's a California boy, right? He was starting to fade out there a little bit near the end.
Little bit.
I agree with you. But they got some swag back now.
They got some swag back. Shout out to the 40-year-olds, Phillip Rivers, in that game, too. Like, he almost won him the game. Like, dude played well for Indianapolis. Shout out to him, by the way.
We got to shout him out. Yeah, we got to shout him out because if the Seahawks don't get a last-minute field goal, the Colts win that game in Seattle.
And he played really well. Good line protection. Good line protection for Phillip Rivers. Did everything well. And that's 3 40-year-old quarterbacks this year. Flacco, Rodgers, now Phillip Rivers, playing well. So shout out to the 40-year-olds, because you and I are getting to that age.
We are. Like, the next time we record this show, I will be a 40-year-old.
So happy early birthday to you. Thank
you, my brother. And now Rivers getting another week of practice, a full game under his belt. On my birthday, plays the 49ers, on a Monday Night Football. They already announced he's going to be the starter. I'm not saying I'm like nervous. I'm like, we should handle him, but I'm like, he's a veteran that is great at reading defenses, and he's got another week under his belt now. So I know how good of a player he used to be. So I'm a little reticent here. I'm like, listen, don't take Philip Rivers lightly on Monday night, San Francisco. Whatever you do, don't do that.
No, don't do it because beautiful. And look, again, without even looking at the rundown, already looking at it, I mentioned the Philip Rivers. We'll go to NFC West. We'll move out there. Rams could have lost Devontae Adams. I still think they have enough weapons to still be the best team in that in the division, in the conference. Seattle's still up there, Legion of Boom type defense. I mean, look, we said it at the beginning of the year, and I think we said it in our midseason too. I said that there could potentially be 3 teams coming out of the NFC West. My prediction for that still looks pretty good because Niners are playing well. Rams, I know they have the loss to Devontae Adams, but I think they
locked up a playoff spot.
Right, and I still think they have enough weapons to overcome that injury. And Seattle is Seattle. And again, I want to see Sam Darnold from now through the playoffs. That's what I want to see Sam Darnold because I'm still not sold he can get the Seahawks deep.
Well, Jimmy, in 2 nights from the night of this recording, Thursday Night Football in Seattle, Rams have to travel there. This is the biggest game of the year for this division thus far because if Seattle wins this game, they control the division, and that opens the door for the 49ers. So I'm actually rooting for the Seahawks because if Seattle wins this game on Thursday.
Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'm going to say I'm not going to fully root for them. I'm just going to say, hey, can you try to win this game, please?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know, I can't do it. I think Seattle's my most hated football team. I hate them. But if they win that game.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Before your thought, more hated, Dallas Cowboys or Seattle Seahawks?
Oh, for me personally, I mean, look, as a whole, as a Niners organization, it's got to be Dallas. It's Dallas because of the rivalry and the history from the 80s and the Super Bowl championships. Like, they're tied at 5.
Yeah.
So, historically, it's the Cowboys. These last 15 years, for me, it's been the Seattle Seahawks because of them, they were a thorn in our side in the years of Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick and the Legion of Boom. And, Sherman, now I love the guy, but at one time he was yelling at Michael Crabtree to not stick a sorry receiver on him. We all remember that clip.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's Seattle.
Sorry for the sidetrack, but you said
it's all right. It's fun.
It's fun. So get to your thought.
It's a fair question. It's a fair question.
It is a fair question. It is a fair.
I have to say, if Seattle pulls this off, they control their own destiny. The Rams actually would, if they lose and the Niners take care of business against the Colts, the Rams would drop behind the Niners, I think, because of the conference records, right?
And the division record.
That's why the Niners have a better division record. They're 1-1 head-to-head, but because of the better division record, the Niners would actually go to 5. Rams would drop to 6. And then the Week 18, Niners hosting the Seahawks, that would be for the 1 seed and for control of the NFC West. So this is a huge game Thursday night. Does Sam Darnold have that ability to take, to your point, this is where you see if Sam Darnold can get it done. I don't trust the guy
to do it,
but we'll see.
Last year in Minnesota against Detroit.
He didn't do it.
So
this is another opportunity. You don't get the same opportunity twice. If you're Sam Darnold, you have to win this game because we saw what you did last year. If you want to stick around in the league, you have to win this game. So, hey, biggest game. They're not going to have Devontae. If anything, if Devontae is going to miss like the rest of the regular season,
that's okay.
Get him healed up. Yeah, get him healed up for the playoffs. You can win games without him. But this Thursday, going to be huge for this division, man.
And then we mentioned Packers and other injuries before, but Detroit's lurking because you got Bears are right there. Minnesota could steal a game here and there. I'm still not sold on J.J. McCarthy. He played a shitty Dallas team. Whoops, sorry. But they played a.
Hey man, you didn't like the gritty into the end zone, the fake, run.
I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I really didn't. You know why? Because he played a bad Dallas defense.
Yeah, he's got to work on his mechanics. I'll tell you what. Collinsworth was breaking it down. They did show like some of his mechanics were very similar to Josh Allen when he started in the NFL. Someone's got to help him out. He needs a QB coach to help him out. But look, back-to-back games, they put up 30-something points. I know, look, the key is to get your quarterback in a position to win. He's only, 9 games into his career. So let's see how it goes. Still, not showing to me that he's going to be a long-term guy in the NFL. We'll see. But Bears, have to play Green Bay. They got the Niners, and I think the Bears and Detroit. Detroit is week 18. So the Bears, if they don't want to have to deal with the Lions team trying to knock them out in week 18, take care of business this week with Green Bay. And then that Niners game is a toss-up, I think, between both those teams.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Toss up there. Eagles get right. They get their get right game. Dallas just blows a game against Minnesota. You can't blow that game if you're Dallas. You had already lost to Detroit. Already blew that game. Now you blow the Minnesota game. You're essentially done. You basically just gave the Eagles their playoff spot. They're pretty much locked up. But what is going on in the NFC South? Like, what is going on in this division?
I don't think anybody wants to win this thing.
Nobody wants to win this division. For the first time ever, can we just not have a division? Like, if we don't want to include the group of 5 in the college football playoff, is there a way we cannot include teams from the NFC South in the NFL playoffs this year? Because
I'm with you.
None of these teams are good enough for the playoffs. I'm sorry.
It seems like every year there's one division that every team is 5. There's 4 or 500 teams. You know, like every team, like the winner of the division is barely above 500, right? It seems like we're going to get 2 of that possibly with the Steelers, Ravens as well. But this division, Tampa Bay, what are you doing, man? Like, you're playing the New Orleans Saints. I mean, I can't rag too much because Tampa lost to them also. Also, Tampa, Thursday night, you're up 28-14 in the second half against Atlanta. You got them at a 3rd and 28, a 4th and 14. So that's more the defense lighting up than anything, because I think the offense did enough to win that game. So Atlanta blows it. Carolina, golden opportunity, can't grab the brass ring. They lose to New Orleans, and now it's going to come down to these 2 games, Carolina versus Tampa, 2 out of the final 3 weeks of the season. But again, whoever wins this game gets to host who? Who you hosting? The Rams or the Seahawks, possibly. Okay, congratulations. That's your consolation for making the playoffs.
And the worst part is like back in the day when Seattle had a 7-9 record, and one of the best, like New Orleans had to go.
They won. They beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints because of that building. Like, and
that's right. That's true.
But I still, and again, when Tampa beat Philly, Tampa was rolling, and Philly was just going the complete other way. I'm going to say this. I don't think one of Seattle or Rams are going in there and losing. Carolina's
not a home field, and Tampa's got a good crowd, like good fans, but not good enough for like you said, a Rams or Seattle to go in there and lose.
Like, I know the Rams did lose to Carolina. I know they did. But
they did. Yeah.
But I don't see it happening twice.
I don't either. Too good of a team, man. Whoever wins this division, you're hosting somebody. Congrats. And you're probably going to lose.
Can we just go? How about this? Can we take 3 teams from the North, 3 teams from the West, and the Eagles?
I mean, we should. That's what we should change it to. Look, eventually that might get voted on in the future. I know that they want to do 1 through 7 or whatever is by record, and the teams that have the better record are hosting the games. I know that's going to be a thing that they've been trying to get out to vote. So perhaps in the future we might see that, but it would defeat the purpose of having the divisions, though.
Yeah, I know, but again, we've always seemed to have one year we have one team that's crappy, and they have to they're allowed to host a playoff game.
Right, at least make it so they don't host the game, right?
Right, like you still have the division winner, but like maybe the division winner is like the 5 seed or whatever, and they get to go someplace.
Or just rank them 1 through 7 based off record, but the division winner's still in, right?
Right, something like that. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just throwing out ideas. The Eagles are winning this division. They got their get right game. We'll see if they keep getting right, because
third shortest NFL game in history. Eagles over the Raiders. It was like a running clock was going the entire time. It was 31-0. I think the Raiders had like 75 yards of offense. Pete Carroll, nice to see you. Good luck on your future endeavors. That's what's going on in week 18 here.
Yo, Black Monday's coming quick. I was asked about this by Rob Peterson. Shout out Rob Peterson. When I was on his show. So we're gonna get our fan Q&A in a minute. But shout out.
Yeah.
Dude, he asked me about John Gruden. I know we've mentioned Gruden before. Do you think he gets back in the league?
I think he does eventually. Whenever this lawsuit boils over, because now I think the courts ruled in his favor.
Yeah.
That he was blackballed. So if he can win that case, I think he could. I don't know if the owners are going to be pissed that he got one up on him, but I mean, it would be good cost. But I think Gruden has done enough post NFL career now that he deserves a shot back in there. Because how many times have we seen some of these older coaches come in there and turn things around, right? I mean, if some of these older guys are getting opportunities, I think Gruden deserves at least one more chance, right?
And I'll say the one place he should go is New York.
Yeah, the Giants, right?
Giants,
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
I mean,
because here's
he
the
loves
thing.
Jackson Dart.
He loves Jackson Dart, but I found the QB thing that he does every year. He had Jackson Dart on. He's like, dude, you need to learn how to protect yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. He said that. He said that to him. He said, absolutely, you need to protect yourself.
And now what happened to Jackson Dart? Another concussion. Shut him down. Yeah. Dude, we said this on a podcast. Shut him down. Just shut him down.
For his own good, for the franchise's own good, Mara has to go in there and be like, look, Kafka, I know you're trying to like do something here. We're not playing Jackson Dart anymore. There's no reason, especially now they got the Raiders coming in there. Who's going to want to lose that game the most? Because right now it's Giants 1, Raiders 2.
Dude,
loser is the number 1 pick.
Jameis start. Go easy game. Should beat the Raiders early game.
But if I'm then, I want to lose though. That's the thing. I want to lose. Get the number 1 pick. Have all these teams coming in there to try to trade for you.
I think one or two are going to be valuable no matter what you have.
You're right.
I think 1 or 2 most valuable picks this year because the Giants don't need a quarterback. If they finish second, you can get a king's ransom for that pick.
Yeah, they're going to get a king's ransom, and that's what you need to build around Jackson Dart. That's what they should do.
They should have done that years ago with all their picks. Should have moved back, got the players that way. They didn't. They tried to pick, unless there's some hotshot stud at 2, a running back, but you don't need it because Cam Scadaboo's there, and you can do fine with guys off the free agent market. Trade the pick, get a king's ransom for it. But we're going in. This is when the Saturday schedule starts. We're getting some Saturday games now, which is nice, which I like. So we talked about it, touched on it. Big games for the playoffs: Rams and Seahawks, Packers and Bears, Bucks and Panthers, Jags and Broncos, Steelers, Lions, Pats and Ravens. A lot of good games there. We'll see what the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs do at Tennessee. That'll be interesting.
Tennessee can Tennessee win a game against the Mahomesless Chiefs, right?
Well, no, it says I think the Giants play the Raiders the following week. They got Minnesota.
They do, yes.
They got Minnesota this weekend. JJ
they'll lose that probably.
Yeah, they'll lose that. But I mean, look, see what the Texans.
What do you think? Looking at this, what do you think is the most important game? I think that stands out to you here.
we forgot to throw it down 49ers Colts too. That's a big game too on a Monday night.
Big game.
Big game for both teams. I think the biggest game for me is Jags and Broncos. I want to see what Broncos can do, man. I mean, Jags can do against Broncos. I think that to me is the biggest game to me because again, we want to see what Trevor Lawrence can do mile high, man. Like that to me is huge. I like Bears and Packers too. That's another important one, and obviously Thursday night. So those are some of my big games.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. I think the Packers and Bears, honestly, big one because this is a time for Caleb Williams to silence all the doubters.
Yep.
You know that have been ragging him for a couple of years here and get back Green Bay for what happened a couple of weeks ago, right? I mean, look, Packers are wounded. This is an opportunity to jump when a team is down. And this is the time to do it. You can't give Green Bay hope because the Bears losing this drops them all the way again in the playoff rankings into the wild card spot. And then you play the Niners, who are also in that same position as you. You could get knocked down even further and have to deal with Detroit week 18. So this right here is the biggest game of Caleb Williams' career at the moment. Biggest game for the Chicago Bears franchise in a long time because the ramifications, if you lose, you could be out of the playoffs by week 18 if you look at it. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about, but that's what could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. It's going to be awesome. We got to introduce a new segment to the NightCap Recap. We were told by our fans, and we listen to our fans because we love our fans. They wanted us to do fan questions. And when we get our live stream set up, which we will do one day, ask all the questions in the world. And we take fan questions. And you have one fan question, and I have one fan question. And I want to
I
let
do.
you start it because your buddies who listen to the show religiously, thank you for that. Spotify #1 on your Wrapped, so I like that. Start us off with our fan question segment.
Yeah, shout out to my coworker Emmer. He's a big viewer on YouTube as well. He loves watching it on YouTube. So thank you for this question. And we might have answered this already, but it's good to discuss it again. He really wants us to discuss the Jacksonville Jaguars, our AEW Jags. How much stock are you going to put into Trevor Lawrence going into the playoffs? Let's say the Jags do make it. What is their potential to getting all the way to a Super Bowl? How much stock are you putting into Trevor Lawrence here?
I'm putting a lot of stock into Trevor Lawrence. I'm just not sure if they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. I think they still need a couple other pieces. I want to see more from that defense. I think this, as we've discussed, I think this is a big game against the Broncos. Let's see what they can do. We know they beat Kansas City. We know they're coming up in that division. I think whoever they match up in the first round, I could see them winning a playoff round and get to a divisional round like they did the one year. And then they may have to see where they can go from there. But I think the Jags are getting primed to be what the Jags were when Tom Coughlin was there late in the 90s when they first came into the NFL with Coughlin making some conference championship appearances. I do think that the Jags are maybe a year or two away from being a conference championship team.
Hey, well said, Jimmy. And looking at the schedule, at Denver, hosting the Colts, and at Indy and hosting the Titans. So I think they can get to at least 12 wins. Those last two games within the division with the Colts and the Titans, those should be games that they win because we don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be with Indy, if Rivers is going to continue to start. You are right. Going into Denver will show us a lot about what kind of player Trevor Lawrence is, right? And if you said he's got that pedigree, right, from his Clemson days.
Yeah, he can win. He can win.
Yeah, and if he can unlock something there, which it looks like he's unlocked something here in the last couple of weeks, and the Jags can get hot, this defense is good enough to give some of these other team fits. Like, as far as Denver and the Pats, yeah, they are the top winning teams in the conference, but it's not like they've had the pedigree. This isn't
the Chiefs or the Bills or the Ravens.
Correct. It's not your old school Pats either or your old school Broncos. These teams can be beaten. It's shown in the NFL any team can beat any team on any given Sunday. So I give Trevor Lawrence and those guys a puncher's chance to make some noise in the playoffs.
I'm going to say this on the Jags, and I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to say this. It was similar to what the Giants did when they lost the year they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They showed they can compete even though they came up short. I think if the Jags show they can compete, lose a one-score game, and have to play Denver later on in the playoffs, say, for instance, I would not bet against the Jags winning that game in the playoffs.
I like that, Jimmy. That's a great comparison.
Yeah, so I want to shout out Emmer for the question on the Jags. I know we touched on, we haven't touched on this, but we touched on with Russ. I got a question. Brian McCarthy, upstate New York, big Jets guy. Asked me this question. I want you to answer and I'll follow up. But this is one out there. Are the New York Jets the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL?
I think they might be. I mean, after this firing of Steve Wilkes, look, Steve Wilkes not a great defensive coordinator, right? I mean, I don't get what firing him in week 14 does. Like, he was going to be fired. Right, he was going to be fired anyway. And again, Aaron Glenn didn't give an honest answer when asked why he did this. He's like, I just thought, we got to change some things up defensively, and you can ask those guys. And he's like, he was asked about his players not answering questions to the media. And he said, those guys are grown men. They'll come around and they'll answer the questions. You got to go talk to them. I mean, if you're the coach, have some accountability for your players and say, listen, we had a devastating loss. These guys are kind of like don't want to speak right now, and that's how it is. I mean, instead of saying those guys are grown men, they'll answer when they want to, you're making excuses for them. So, look, I think they're going to give Glenn another opportunity. But as far as the organization is run, outside of the Cleveland Browns and now the Raiders, the Jets are up there as one of the worst run franchises. I think Arizona's getting into that territory as well. They don't know what they're doing with their coach, their quarterback. It just seems like it's a never-ending cycle. We can ask our buddy Justin Gonzalez as well. It's a never-ending cycle for the last 20 years, get the new coach, get the new GM. The GM leaves. They draft someone else. It doesn't work out. So dysfunction is high with the New York Jets. I think it's a good question, and I will say yes, they are.
Yeah, I agree. I answered again. I think they are the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL besides the Browns. I think it's 1A, 1B, depending on who you want to talk to. Andy McNamara could probably tell us differently when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. But I think Ambassador Johnson needs to come back because owner Woody Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. It's clear he's meddling where he shouldn't meddle. It's not like he's Jerry Jones. He's not like he's the general manager of the team. Let your football people run the organization. You hired them for a reason. If you want to be GM and owner like Jerry Jones, then be GM and owner like Jerry Jones. If you don't want to be like Jerry Jones and some of these other owners, then let your football people make decisions and don't have a happy trigger finger and wanting to fire people left and right. You got to have continuity with your quarterback. You got to get a quarterback A. You have to let the kid develop. You cannot just throw him to the wayside after 2 years because you didn't develop an O-line, you didn't protect them, and then you let him walk and go to another organization where there's the offensive line help, the weapons, and he becomes a good NFL quarterback, and everybody's going to be like, well, what the heck happened in New York? It's the same problems all the time. Get your quarterback right. Get your offensive line right. Develop. Keep your head coach for a little bit. Again, how many times do we have to discuss this? I know the NFL and the NHL is different, but these teams have to embrace that there's going to be periods of bad, and if you can draft and develop and put your team together, you will be better for it in the future.
Jimmy, you can't say it any better because, look, if the Jets had stuck with Sam Darnold and just gone through the bad period, right, and just worked on developing and getting the pieces around him with the draft picks, perhaps Darnold would have blossomed into what we're seeing now. Maybe you needed the right coach in there for him because him jumping around, going to well-coached teams also helped and learning systems. But I think that he came into the league, in 2018?
Yeah.
Let's say you had 5 years of growing pains. It took Alex Smith with the 49ers from 2005 until Harbaugh got there in 2011. Almost 7 years until he finally blossomed to the quarterback that he truly was, that he could have his full potential. So maybe you could have got that out of Darnold if you waited from 18.
Or Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, you could have been reaping the benefits of that if you somehow built a good O-line, drafted good weapons around him over these last 7 to 8 years. And trigger finger, too quick to fire, guys. You said it, Jimmy.
Look, I mean, I'm not saying don't go Buffalo Sabres and bring back an old coach, but I think a guy like Rex Ryan right now would be a perfect fit for the Jets. Like, I'm not trying to pump his own tires because he wants the Jets job again, but I didn't think he did a terrible job as Jets head coach.
No, he did not. He took a team twice to the AFC title game, and he had success there. The team was good under him. They won games, right? And that's the last time they had that kind of fire and that fierceness, right? The organization has not seen that since then.
No. So, yeah, great question by Ryan. I love it. 2 great questions to kick off this segment. Huge. These are huge questions for us.
Guys, if you listen or watch the show, you can send comments on YouTube on where we post in our Instagram page, or you could just text us or DM us. If you're hearing this segment, we'd love to hear some questions. We'll also reach out to people until the fans start reaching out to us. But hey, DM us, leave a comment. We'll answer your questions.
Yeah, the comment section is open on YouTube, Specialty Media, on the page on the NightCap Recap. Please leave your questions or your comments. You disagree with us, you agree with us. Hey, we love the interaction with the fans. It doesn't matter. You got questions, we'll read them on air, shout you out. We love it. Great way to kick this. I think it's went better than when we did this like betting segment that we tried to do.
Yeah. Hey, listen, maybe next year we delve into the fantasy football production, like here's our fantasy football player of the week or something like that. But the betting thing did not work out for either. Well, you did better than me on that, I think, because you were picking the hockey games. I maybe got one game right the entire year. This is why I don't sports bet and I don't do it. So we'll stick with this. I kind of like the fan questions better.
I like the fan questions, whether it's wrestling, NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, college football. Doesn't matter. The question,
anything, or a life question.
Life question. It doesn't matter. but we will answer it for you here on the Nightcap Recap. Why? Well, we're first. We're the best in the business for a reason. We're always ahead of the game. We got a lot of mottos, right, Lefty?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
The isness of the business. I mean, we could just keep throwing them out here.
Yeah, we're like
we got-
Apollo Creed with all these nicknames. So
I love it.
I love it, guys. Nightcap Recap. Check it out. Sign up. Follow along. Comment. Like our page. Like the specialty media page. Shout out to them as well. We'll be back again next week. Guys, take care. And we'll be back again soon.
Take care, guys.